Hey guys, so today's April 21st, and the clock is ticking on the Mega Man project. Quite, like I said yesterday, quite scary. I started Reel 2 today. I was going to just burst straight into the action tracks. However, I should be upgrading my system this weekend, and if I actually am, that extra performance boost will be invaluable on the action track, so I can make them a lot more Skype again, a lot more intricate, a lot more powerful, which is the aim. So I'm looking forward to seeing if I can get it all upgraded and stuff. So I'm putting off the action for now. I'm working on the in-between parts. So there's a few parts with our villain, Mr. Wily, and in those parts he is just being evil. This is actually the first time where he comes into into a form of contact with our other characters. So this will be the part where from this point on, this is the part where the themes and the melodies will start to intertwine. So not so much in this track, but there's things happen and decisions are made during the process of this little section where from that point on the themes will start to interact. They won't just be, play hero theme then play villain theme, but they'll start interacting and creating new kind of, not new themes, but they'll be creating new harmonizations and new textures and stuff, which is exciting. So today was a bit more playing up the dark side again. I managed to make good use of those samples I recorded the other day. If you watch that one, here's a little preview of what I wrote today. Nice moody kind of sample sounds. There's our wily chord progression, a big dissonant kind of flow. We go from this minor chord into another minor chord. Very dissonant, I like it. That was actually the same two chords. You would have heard it as 4 chords there, but I used the same 2 chords in a different voicing, which is where you essentially move, like the top note goes down to the bottom, or it just depends on what inversion of the chord you're playing. But I made it so that the inversions make the chord progression sound like it's descending, even though it's the same 2 chords. Yeah, so it goes. It goes from one chord to the next, and then back to the first chord, but with the top note at the bottom, and then the second chord again, but with that one's top note at the bottom. So you get this kind of downwards feel, which was the aim. That big boom, actually, if you listen to the track, there's a big kind of thudding boom. That sound is actually a tiny cymbal, drum set, just a normal rock kit cymbal that's about that size, and post-processed, obviously. If you listen for it, the big boom, that, it's a cymbal with a lot of effects on it. So one chord, and then second chord, and then when it comes back in, that's the first chord again, but lower, with the top note at the bottom. That's the second chord again, with the top note of the second chord, if you see that kind of descending motion. So that was good fun. So that's what I've been working on today. I'm hoping those upgrades get here quick, because I really I'm itching to get onto the action tracks. If you've been watching the blog so far and been seeing this beard that I keep stroking getting longer and longer, it's because I want to see how long it gets from when I started the project to when I finish. It's very uncomfortable and very unbecoming. It looks a bit scruffy, but if you can even call it a beard, I mean, it's bum fluff, we'll call it for now. So I'll go back to questions. Right, so this is Green Frog Reed. He posted on my first my first blog, and he says, I use FL Studio. I assume he means Fruity Loops. I use Fruity Loops Studio and can't get near the professionalism that you're getting. Thanks, I'll take that as a compliment. What programs are you using? Like I say in everyone pretty much, I use Ableton Live. And I'm a firm believer that it's not what you use, it's how you use it. So I mean, if you know Fruity Loops, I mean, if you're the dog's bollocks at Fruity Loops, then stick with Fruity Loops. You know, if that's where you're comfortable, that's where you can be efficient and creative. The way I think about it is, the less you have to think about writing, like the less you have to think about the actual physical, you know, writing. So the less you have to think about actually putting the information into the computer, the more you'll be thinking about the music, hence the more creative your music will sound. So if you can use Fruity Loops better than anyone else you know, if that's just what you know, use it. But learn to use it well and learn to use it creatively. So it's not so much what I use that gives me my sound, that gives me my specific sound. It's how I use what I've got. I mean, I use Ableton Live because, like I say, I prefer to work with audio files. I mean, on this score there is a hell of a lot of MIDI going on, a lot of sample libraries, and but what I like to do, like I keep saying, is I record. And Ableton Live is brilliant for if you're working with audio files, because firstly it's got a warp engine, a really, really good warp engine. So if you've got a file that's meant to be like it's rhythmic, so it's got a beat to it, it's got a warping engine so that you can snap it to whatever tempo you're using. So even if you change your mind, it will stay in time. That's feature number one that is invaluable to me. And the second thing is the built-in plugins. Well, like at first sight, you may, like I did, you may dismiss them. But if you keep reading the instruction manual and you actually learn what they all do and learn how to use them really well, then they become, I mean, I've got some plugins which cost a hell of a lot more than I use them, if that makes sense. So all you have to do is just learn the built-in effects, the built-in instruments, and they can be just as part of, they can be as much of your sound as anything. So I mean, like the built-in auto filter and the built-in ping-pong delay in Ableton Live get used in almost every sound design that I do. I mean, they're used on, I think, every single sound aspect in this track. There's a sound there. This on YouTube it'll be mono, but there's a sound that kind of, so you get this doof, and then you get, and I've got a that's Ableton Live's auto panner that's making it spin from side to side, but it's a rhythmic one, so it's going da 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 da. So I mean, just learn to use what you've got. I mean, a lot of people will sit there and think, oh, I can't write like I used to do. I used to think, oh, I can't write film music because I only know how to do it. You know, I only know how to be more of a sound design musician. But what you'll find is if you get really good at sounding like yourself, and you know, and even if it means you're less good at sounding like another composer who's popular at the minute, there'll come a time when someone will need your kind of music and you will be the best at it, so they'll hire you. So just be good at your own thing, you know. I mean, I like to think that I'm getting pretty good at the kind of the cross between orchestra and you know, an electronic sound design scoring. So that's kind of what I like doing. So that's what I'm comfortable with, and I mean it's managed to get me quite a bit of work so far, and it's, you know, and it's just the way you do it. So just be good at what you do, you know, and don't worry so much about how other people, or you know, being as good as composer X. Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to be as good, that means that they're the best. So if a director has to choose between you and him, he'll choose him because he's known and he's famous. Like if people are looking at me thinking, how do I sound like, you know, how do I sound like that? Don't try and sound like me. Not that you'd want to, but don't, you know, there's no point trying to sound like me. Try and sound like you. Whoa, that was loud. Try and sound like you and be good at being you, if that makes sense. I know that was a bit of a rant, a bit of an epic ramble, but I'm a firm believer that you should just do your thing and be good at it. I mean, if you want to learn orchestral and orchestration like I did, you know, make that a part of you, you know, interpret that your way. And again, I'm running out of time, so thanks for watching again today, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.